This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's access media station, Plains FM, and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Thanks for joining us for Being Real Parents with me, Anna, and my colleague and buddy,
Melissa from Monday Creative.
We work in the parenting space, and it's here where we'll talk about our worlds as parents, the good, the not so good, and the hilarious, and mix this with what we know about behaviour and psychology.
Today, Anna and I are going to discuss the importance of parent health and wellbeing. We're going to talk about why this is so important, because really we can't parent well unless we are well ourselves, some possible suggestions, and talking about what we know works. So, Anna, how are you this week? How's your week been?
It's been expensive.
Oh, has it? Ooh.
Only because I've had a tooth issue and ended up in like emergency dental, which is a great thing, isn't it, when you're in the waiting room? Because it's always the question running around in mind is, you know, it's the game of guess how much this is going to cost.
Oh. And you're not going to have a tooth fairy come to the rescue, are you? And give you anything for that tooth? No. Isn't it funny? You would go to, doctors and dentists are so expensive, which can be a barrier often, isn't it? But obviously it's your teeth, isn't it?
I know. I'd like to know what it takes to feel comfortable going to the dentist regularly.
Yeah.
Like there's our previous experiences come into it. Like that's a big deal. I had braces as a kid and I mean, I shouldn't complain about that, but holy shamoly, the pain around that was, obscene. And then, you know, so there's those previous experiences and then there's now I don't know, you know, there's the mid-40-year-old teeth that, you know, I think, you know, it's only been in the last several generations that we've, you know, 45 is not an average death age, so we probably are lucky to have anything.
And have a full set of teeth. We're lucky to have our teeth. I'm glad you didn't walk in with a set of dentures.
And then there's the cost. I know, I would have looked like a horse.
Yeah, no,
And then there's the cost of it.
Yeah.
Just all of that gets in the way of me ever wanting to go to the dentist.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned braces. My daughter's getting braces this week. She had spaces put in yesterday and she's getting braces tomorrow.
Wow.
And I remember, I haven't really gone into the detail. I had braces as well. I remember the pain and it hurts, but I haven't said that to her. And actually, I was really mortified at the thought of getting braces, and she's super excited, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, that is good. That's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah. Train tracks are cool. Yeah. But otherwise, that's a busy week for me. I've got braces on the go, and we've got
not your own,
not my own. No, I've got a full set of teeth.
Maybe that's why
good teeth.
Braces again. Oh no.
Yeah. Yes. So. And what else has been going on other than the teeth situation? How's work for you?
It's kind of manageable. It's feeling good. It's feeling good. I've got, still Taikai on the go and Sparklers on the go, and we've got our coaching clients. We've got 4 incredible years going on at the moment. It's nice. It's a really nice mix, of work, working with people to, with parents to thinking about them when we're writing about them, and it's nice. It's really nice.
And you enjoy working in that health and wellbeing space?
I do. I feel really lucky to work in that space, and I think it's actually what's kept me well.
Yeah.
I mean, like the past, I've been working in that space now just post-quake, and in the past 5 years, it's probably been the toughest time of my life. Losing, my mum being diagnosed with cancer, losing my mum, then mosque attacks, where we lost a dear, dear friend. And then also in that, choosing to leave my partner. Mm-hmm. Moving to Peel Forest, supporting my dad with his cancer. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But going solo in my business.
Mm-hmm. Heck, you've had a lot going on.
Yeah, I have had a lot going on, but it's knowing the stuff, and what keeps me well is what actually has kept me well. And that's a beautiful thing because I know that it works. Mm-hmm.
You walk the talk.
Yeah, I guess I do. I mean, I certainly get to the points where I feel really exhausted and know that I need to do something, actively do something. So I always go back to go back to wellbeing. Mm-hmm. The kind of saying around it is that wellbeing won't wait.
No, neither does life.
No.
Mm. So in a day, if you're feeling stressed or you've got a lot of work on or you're juggling heaps of stuff, what's your go-to for you?
Laughter, humour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Always.
Having
actually.
a giggle.
That's interesting, yeah. So connection. But I also really like kind of, I'm quite, I like laughing at myself too and seeing the funny parts. I don't know, because life is ridiculous.
Have you ever done laughter yoga?
Yes.
Laughing yoga?
Yes,
hilarious.
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, isn't it? It's like fake laughing, which actually produces real laughter, which releases endorphins and makes you feel good. You come out.
Yeah.
I'm giggling on the inside thinking about it.
I've done it once, and it was awesome. I felt really out of my comfort zone doing it, and I didn't go back. I don't know if it was something for me, but I loved it. It was fun and it was good, and I felt $1 million afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, we did it for our work thing, but it is. Sometimes I'll. I think I go back to laughing because that demonstrated for us, didn't it, both of us, how amazing laughter is in making us feel good.
Yeah, you force your body into it.
Yeah.
In that way. That you have all the exercises, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Wide-mouthed laughing.
Yes.
Can't do that at the moment with my teeth. What do you do for wellbeing?
I suppose my fallback would be exercise or just getting out in nature. Over the years I've always been pretty active in sport, and now that I've got the kids I don't play as much sport, but I've got a dog now, so it's always like, okay, I'm off to walk the dog. The kids know it's actually part of my routine. It's like at any sort of point in time where I can fit it in the day, I'll put my shoes on. The dog knows. I just say, where's your collar? And she's off, and she gets it, and it's good. But we get to the park, and I love listening to podcasts.
Yeah, so, I know, that's the lovely thing about, yeah.
And otherwise I love to dance, and it's that old saying, dance like no one's watching. And luckily for me, my kids love it too. And we turn up the tunes, and we'll sing, and we'll put on Spotify and follow the lyrics. It's amazing how they do that now, have lyrics on Spotify. So you can just sing
karaoke anytime.
We karaoke all the time.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Nice.
And then we'll sort of dance around, and that just gives me such a lift. Music does for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A good tune, it just is just music for the soul. It's so good.
You know yourself well in terms of well-being and what you need to do.
Yeah, I think so. I know what my recipe is.
Yeah.
And
did you come to that early or late?
Probably early 30s. Yeah, I had a bit of a epiphany after various circumstances, and I just kind of figured, you just got to live your best life, really. It's a bit of a cliche, but make the most of every moment and every day in the broader picture. And I do get bogged down in the detail. But, when I'm feeling really stressed, or if I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I recognise that now. I've kind of, like it's an approach to physical fitness. I used to be quite competitive with my sport and have to train. And so that just becomes a ritual and a routine, and you'd have to go and train. And I have, over the years, developed kind of I guess, ways of training my mind. Like I do meditations. I know what my recipe is, and when I feel it and recognise if I'm feeling anxious or down or something, I'll be like, okay, I just need to go for a walk, or I need to turn the music up, or I need to just sit in a quiet place, or I just need to lie on the sofa and cuddle the kids and watch telly.
Yeah.
But I am fortunate that I came to that probably a while ago. Doesn't mean I always do it. But, yeah, I'm quite a big advocate for that, because I kind of feel if I can't look after myself, I won't be able to look after my children.
Yeah. Well, you're right about that. Yeah. Which is hard, isn't it? Because, as mums, there's such a thing as, I just wanted to say that wellbeing is often called mental fitness. Yeah.
Right.
But as mums, there's this thing, I just heard about this recently, called the burnt chop syndrome.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Where basically we always give over the best food, or the we always put ourselves kind of at the
You'll take the burnt chop.
That's right. We put ourselves last in it. Yeah, that's right. And that's the same with our well-being, isn't it? Is that basically we're so busy kind of ensuring that everyone else has that available to them that sometimes it's the last thing that comes to us. Yeah.
I see that, and I think my syndrome was the toast crust syndrome.
Right, the toast crust.
And then that just for probably about 4 or 5 years in a row, I'd just have toast crust for breakfast, the leftover crusts, or I'd have the leftover kids' food, because at that stage they weren't eating full meals as adults because they had kid food. And by the end of the day, I was so knackered. I was like, I'm just going to fill the gap and have that. And it wasn't good for me. I just sort of, there was a time there where you just would forget to cook a meal for you and the other half, and I just would eat whatever was just put in front of me, and that wasn't good either. It just wasn't good for my health. But I think that I would struggle to find a mum that hasn't been in that space, or father actually, in that point in time, any caregiver, where by the end of the day they recognise that they have got a burnt chop on their plate, or they've only just had toast crusts all day. I reckon.
Yeah. But, absolutely.
But how a good thing to talk about and maybe recognise is, how do we recognise that and what do we do about it?
Yeah, how do we fill our cups too?
You're listening to Being Real Parents with Melissa and Anna on Plains FM 96.9.
Okay, cool. So you wanted to bring well-being to the fore inside of this podcast, didn't you? Recognising that, we need to look after our well-being too, particularly as parents. There's that old adage of put on your own oxygen mask first.
Yes.
Yeah, that I've heard bandied around in terms of well-being. But it is hard. It's really hard. And so I've been working in the wellbeing space for the past, 9 years or something now.
Since the quakes.
Yeah. As a part of the All Right campaign, and also as part of Sparklers as well. But what I love about wellbeing is that it doesn't take much to actually look after your own mental health and wellbeing. Like if somebody says to me, I'm going to get fit, I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to have to run.
Yeah.
Or, join a gym or something like that. Whereas with wellbeing, you don't have to do anything. Everything is basically at your fingertips.
I really like the Te Whare Tapawha model.
Yeah.
I love that idea
of
Te Whare Tapawha. 4 pillars holding up the roof. You do a lot of work around that too, and your work with Sparklers. Do you want to talk about that as a concept?
So that's Tā Mason Jury's work, and it talks about our hauora, our overall health, being components of 4 po, like 4 walls, if you like, so holding up our whare. As well as whenua, the land. So we, so in order to care and nurture for our hauora, we need to think about our taha, so the po of hinengaro, our mental health, tinana, our bodily health, whānau, which I think is just extraordinary and so cool that that's in there, especially as parents, I think, as well. And then also Wairoa, which again is a beautiful one. That kind of, so it's sometimes interpreted as spiritual health, but it's about all the things that contribute to us that sometimes are really hard to articulate, like mindfulness would be, or the sun on our back. That's got a word.
Apricity.
Apricity.
The feeling of apricity and appreciation of the feeling of the sun on one's back.
I love that. I love that.
And there's nothing better than sitting. And it could be, you could be facing the sun, but just closing your eyes and that feeling of warmth envelop you. That is apricity.
Yeah. So I love Te Whare Tapawha for that it extends what we think about when we think about health. And then in terms of mental health, I always go back to the 5 ways to wellbeing because they're just so simple and they're things that we can actively do, which is why they were created as well.
So the 5 ways to wellbeing are?
I always refer to them as clang, and then I want to sing clang-a-ling-a-ding-dong.
Clang, so that's in an acronym, C-L-A-N-G.
Yes.
Clang.
So the 5 ways to wellbeing, that's the acronym, that how we remember them. They were created by the New Economics Foundation, by actually the UK government at the time, because they really were interested in wellbeing, but it was that thing about what can people do, because that's their question all the time, isn't it?
Yes.
What can I do?
Simple things to do.
Yeah, we know what to do if we want to get physically fit. We know what to do if we want to eat healthy or any of those sorts of things, but we don't necessarily know how to look after our mental health and wellbeing. So they did a huge piece of research, and I think it was 10. It included like 5,000 people even in New Zealand in order to determine whether or not it was universal, and it turns out it is. So the clang is those 5 things. C being connecting with others, which is because we're social beings, aren't we?
Yes.
We love to be around people normally. We love to laugh. We love to, be a part of a family, be a part of a social group. Yeah, that's right. So that's connect. And then there is our learn. So that's about just being curious. And, as parents, I always think about that, being curious in the things that your children are curious of as well. So that means that we can help them to, help them with the things that they're interested in. If we're taking them places, sit in the places that they want to, be in at the museum or the art gallery and learn a bit more about what's around us.
And look at things through their eyes a little bit.
Yeah. Learn. A is for active, and, and we all get scared that means that we're going to have to, run the coast to coast, but we don't.
No.
Hallelujah. So 10 minutes a day is enough to increase, endorphins in our body and make us feel good. And, and so that's dancing with your kids.
Yeah.
Like you said.
A bit of cunny.
That is heading outside with the dog.
Yes. It's turning it up. And that's
my favourite place to be when I'm being active, is just outside. Hey? Yeah.
Absolutely. Even in the rain. I love going for a walk in the rain.
There's a reason that Te Whare Tapawha has whenua there. Te tai ao, the environment is hugely... there's all sorts of research around that as well. So it hugely contributes to our well-being. Just, having plants available inside is important, or a view of the outside world.
Yes, so that's being active.
That's active, thank you.
So N is for...
taking notice, another one of my big favourites, and that is about just being still, present in the moment. It might include things that we kind of actively do to take notice, like mindfulness or yoga or whatever, but it might also be, finding, just sitting in the fun of something. If something's fun, just sitting there and enjoying that.
Soaking it up.
Yeah. Or being outside and we have those big things that kind of overwhelm us, like awe or wonder.
Or experiencing apricity, the feeling of sun.
Right.
That, to me, honestly gets me every time. I can just sit there with a cup of coffee and the sun is shining and I am happy.
Yeah.
Just makes me feel just peaceful.
Taking notice is one of the biggest things that we can do for our wellbeing buck. So it's really boosting. So that's why it's really important that we do actually spend time in there. And kids, again, are really good at that. They'll notice the rainbow first.
Yeah, they do.
Boom, sit in that.
Yes.
They're the ones that see the heart-shaped stone.
Yeah.
And, sit in that and how delighted they are to find that. And then the last one is giving. Mm-hmm. So that's all about kindness. Again, going back to us being social beings. And it's about giving our time and our presence, not gifts as such. Yeah. So sharing, Kai, giving our time, volunteering. How else do we give? Oh, all the time as parents.
Yeah, and we do. And then some people do. They have their love language. I believe I like to follow the 5 love languages, for example, and giving gifts. I know my sister is a brilliant gift giver. She loves it, and she wraps things up, and it's just absolutely stunning the way she presents gifts, and that's her love language. Yeah. Whereas me and my other sister, we wrap a present in a tea towel, it's a bit of a joke, or newspaper, and give it to each other. But it's not about that. It's about, that's because it's a joke. But, people can get a lot of love and joy out of giving a gift and seeing this joy on someone's face.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because how many, our kids sit in these 5 ways to wellbeing and, they do it all the time. They love being around their friends. They love connecting with us. They need us to do things, even to, regulate their emotions. And they're so deeply connected to others. They, they're immersed in school or kohanga or ECE, and the learning is, they're just constantly curious and learning. Active, they just are naturally busy little beings.
When does that stop? It's the simplicity of life, isn't it? Really just falling into the simplicity. When, as adults, does that stop? I mean, it does for most of us, and we get bogged down in things, but if we could figure out when that does stop, or what it is to make that not stop.
I don't think it stops, but I think that we get busier, and so we forget about the joy that these things bring us. And well-being is about finding the thing that brings you joy. Yes. It's not about, you do sport, I do humour.
Yeah.
Some people go to the gym.
Yes.
I love being in the bush.
Yeah.
And there's kind of like, there's not a one-size-fits-all in this. It's about finding what, suits you.
Absolutely.
But if those 5 things are apparent, and some of them cross across heaps of them, like, if you and I went and walked your dog together, we've got, what have we got? We've got connecting, we've got taking notice, we've got being active, and
giving of time.
Yeah. That's right. And so, many of them fall across heaps of them. So if we think about having those things available in our day, just even in moments and looking for them, and that will, that's going to be great for boosting your wellbeing.
So just to sum up, what I heard you say then about looking after ourselves is that we must fill up our own cup too. We can't parent well unless we look after ourselves. The big thing is also to clang it up, clang being to connect, to learn, to be active, to notice and to give, and just do whatever makes you feel good in your own time, in your own space, and whatever is good for you is just enough. And just give yourself 10, 15 minutes a day to do something for you. And if you're looking for inspiration, and if you're looking for ideas or any more about 5 ways to wellbeing, you can head to the Real Parents website. We've got a area there. It's called Looking After You Too, and that's just tips and tricks around, some exercise groups you might want to get involved with and get moving with. Might be about going for a walk or joining a team or any online fitness groups. We've also got a section around get planning that can reduce the stress around the actual doing and just sort of having a bit of structure and order to your day.
Yeah, being organised around it.
Yeah.
If that suits you.
Yeah. And then just chilling, just finding that space where you chill, whether it is through, some people are active relaxers, other people just want to just lie in the sun, other people want to go walk the dog, just whatever it is for you. But diary that out if you can, do you think? Is that practical?
Yeah, or look for those moments. A little and often is the deal, in terms of those 5 ways to wellbeing. If you're doing them a little and often throughout your day, you're really going to be looking after yourself.
Create the habit. Yeah, and I think that's what I've probably done over the year, create the habit to know what I need to do to keep on top of my wellbeing.
Yeah. So if anything we've said today has piqued your interest and you want to check out more about this information and looking after your wellbeing, as Melissa said, head to our website or follow us on Facebook or Insta. We'd love to see you there. And if you've got any questions, just send them our way. We're really happy to hear from you.
Super. Thanks for joining us today.
We hope you've learned that while parenting is challenging sometimes, that's totally normal. It's been fun having you with us. Keep being amazing. Bye.